What is cracking, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to another Mechabellum PvP game. Just going to watch my replay here because I forgot to hit record. Commentated the whole thing and yeah, that went away. For anyone else that makes content, you can imagine how fun that is. But here we have the Rhino, Speed, Marksman and Elite Specialist. And I decide to go for the Marksman Specialist. I feel like starting with a rank 3 unit is pretty strong. Our opponent, Typhen Nom or Nom, Typhen Nom. I don't know what that means. Maybe I shouldn't say that word. I don't know what that is. But here we have we got some steel balls, level 3 marksman, got some crawlers, and I believe I decided to go for extra marksman. And we are versing tarantula, marksman, and a giant specialist. Actually make a few mistakes, quite a few mistakes in the early rounds, and you're about to see those in action. Can we speed this up? How do I speed this up? Is there a way to just can I click this? Okay, there we go. Alright, so you'll see my central level 3 marksman gets overwhelmed by the enemy marksman before I can get in position here. So my crawlers are a little slow on the mark to get around. I'll need to move them a little further back next time, so I know that now. Steel balls are doing work. And for the foreseeable future in this match, there is quite a large chaff issue. And that's because our opponent started with Tarantula, which is quite good at clearing them. And if they clear my chaff faster than, I get mine out, then I lose my chaff and it's no good. So I have to try and correct this throughout the match, which I end up kind of doing. These modules here, I don't really like these too much. Haste module, strike specialist, missile, and photon. I'd rather keep the money, so I opt for a skip. My opponent goes for haste, and I believe he puts them on these crawlers here. So with that, I see that I have a chaff issue, and I try and correct it now by adding steel balls. Because my theory is they're going giant specialist, and steel balls are a natural counter to giant units. They do a lot of single target damage, so that's what I decided to do there. And my thought process was these would arrive and overtake the marksman before these nasties lock on. So, speed this up. The opponent opted for, like I said, the haste module, level 2 crawlers, and here we go. It still didn't work. See, the marksman got railed by the 2 in the center and the steel balls veered off. So, because of how far back the enemy marksmans are, my steel balls couldn't, break through and lock onto them. So, I end up getting annihilated for another round. Unfortunately. Alright, round 3, here we go. So we got the Elite Fangs, Extended Range War Factory, Improved Firepower Control System, and Missile Strike. And here I decide to go for the Elite Fangs, because I'm thinking, I don't have enough chaff, I want some more frontline for the marksmen, so let's see how that goes. I'm actually learning a lot watching this back too, because one thing that I don't check a whole lot of is you'll see if you click a unit, it'll lock on to show you what its priorities are, sort of the direction it's going to move. So yeah, and unfortunately for me, I was kind of hoping they wouldn't go the level 3 fangs, but they did, which gives me a couple little issues. So I thought I'd go some fangs or a couple extra marksmen. Alright, here we go. I added one missile too, just for the hasty crawlers, to try and knock them out. It works out pretty decently. It locks on there and gets them. I could have put it a little further forward. Maybe I should have done that. And you can see here that we are still kinda on the back foot. Tarantulas are really good at clearing chaff. They melted through the fangs with ease. But just sort of left with marksman now, so... Not quite enough. Moving into round number 4. Scorpions, Typhoons, Arclights, and Phoenix. So in this particular situation, I'm thinking there's a lot of chaff to break through. I really love Scorpions, but they don't have a whole lot of giant units yet. And I don't mind the Typhoon for melting through chaff either, but I decided to go for the extra chaff with the ability to AoE his chaff down. So I go for the Arclight. And I'm playing very centralized at this particular time too. I could try pushing a single side, but in the past it hasn't worked out too well for me to get that fast tower. But here we go, let's speed this up. Our opponent has gone for the Scorpion. And I think an extra Tarantula. And I opted for the armor-piercing bullets. I believe I went extra marksman here too for the Scorpion. You can see the Arclights are breaking through quite nicely now. Turned out to be a pretty good choice. Steel balls are pushing in. They're at least getting some hits on the heavy units. Not quite staying alive long enough to do real damage, but that's what we got the marksman for. And this is the first time we hold and take a round. So feeling pretty good here in round 5. We got the deployment specialist. I believe I go for this. I'm not a huge fan of decreased HP units. Not a huge fan of this. And I haven't really played with mass production yet either. Simply because you can only put down 3 units usually at tops. You know, like 3 of something. And yeah, I'm not too sure if I'm sold on it. And I can, you know, this enemy doesn't have a lot of anti-air. They've got some marksmen and that's about it. I believe Tarantula can upgrade, but they haven't taken it. They haven't opted for that in custom selections here. So I decided to go for Wasps. I feel like, you know, overwhelming them with some air, and also going for the flank here to get a quick tower. And there's not a whole lot they can do about this one at all. So let's speed it up here and see what happens. Vulcans are a little bit terrifying. Fortunately, our marksman's locked onto the Vulcan pretty fast, so that worked out quite nicely. And you can see that the Wasp got the tower pretty easily, and it's just a cleanup now. So going into round 6, I'm like, they haven't got a whole lot of anti-air. Let's push the momentum on that and go with Overlords. So I opt for the 2 Overlords here in this particular instance. And I believe my opponent goes Fortress. Yeah, so my opponent goes Fortress, and I believe they get anti-air barrage. I'm not a huge fan of this ability. I would rather just go a solid anti-air unit instead. I'm probably wrong about this. I haven't played the game long enough to know for sure, but it's not something I like, especially for the price. So yeah, they get the Vulcan upgrade. Was dying a bit too fast. Couple of fortresses. I feel like shield could have been useful here. I don't have any like storm callers to break through it really fast. And I decide to opt for Overlord Artillery here. Get the extra ground damage. Alright, here we go. Zoom out a little bit. It's max range. Yeah, so the anti-air barrage, for the time it takes to do any damage, you can see that it didn't do a whole lot of damage to the Overlord. I don't know, I just feel like it lacks a little bit of something. Lacks a little bit of punch. And with that early tower, that wasn't stopped, so the opponent gets a big debuff on all units right from the get-go, and we're able to just steamroll. And that, to my surprise, was victory. That's going to be it for that one. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your day/night, and I'll see you later.